You know, modern dating sucks. It's almost impossible now, and to tell the truth, it's mostly women that made it impossible. Men didn't really change much throughout the years, other than, we do consume a little bit more corn, and we're less ambitious now because we don't want to do so many more things, just the younger generation. But women just turned into men, turned into just miserable beings. So I got a video with Sydney Watson and just kind of go over it. Let's check it out.
Your comments saying nose ring theory are literally doing the opposite of what you think they are. I want to look this way. I want you to be able to look at me and see that I am a safe space and that I don't tolerate bullshit. I want you to look at me.
You are not a safe space.
Donald Trump. Man, honestly.
Well, this is deeply unpleasant.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. Now, I have not dipped my little toesy woesies into the dating discussion for quite a while, namely because every time I do, it brings really strange people out of the woodwork. We respect and like both men and women on this channel, friends. We just don't particularly like buttholes and insane people, okay? This is not a space to just aggressively hate on either sex for no reason, so mind your P's and Q's, or I'll find you and snap your little fingers. I wish that was more satisfying. That was not worth it. I love that we're starting this video with me threatening all of you like some sort of mafia boss. You know what, rather than snapping your fingers, perhaps I'll just send you all fish in the mail.
It's like when the mafia send each other fish through the post.
Anyway, one of my dear darling friends sent me this video to laugh at, but rather than finding it very funny, it just made me incredibly sad for everybody still in the dating world.
I'm sure you've probably seen that person that does like messages their Tinder matches first with like.
Is that a filter that's giving her a nose ring? That's what's going on right now? They're filtering in the nose ring?
The most diabolical, just fucking random shit. I do this too. It's one of my favorite fucking hobbies. So every week, I'm going to be making one of these episodes and showing you the things I've said to potential mates.
I won't lie, and maybe I'm alone in this, I think it's a little weird to go out of your way to traumatize men on the internet for views. The lads are simply trying to find someone to love as well. But more importantly, who is intentionally matching with this person on dating apps? Do you have some sort of humiliation fetish? What is going on here?
I mean, guys are just desperate, so we just swipe right on everybody. At least most guys' strategy is that.
Here's one of my first ones from this week. You ever ate a hot dog backwards? I feel like this is a great way to open a conversation, because like there's no wrong answer, you know? Now this one I think is fucking hilarious. Do you think bugs would choose to work a 9 to 5 if they had better health insurance? God knows I would. I'm not really sure what the theme
Doesn't reply to any of these men.
is with the hot dogs today.
Do you think leftists tried not to be funny on purpose, or do you think it just happens that way? So because I hate myself, I went and looked up this girl's TikTok. She calls herself Bunny, with an I. All of this is checking out so far. It feels exclusively like this account was made for me to hate watch. Anyway, after scrolling her weird videos, I found that about a month after the clip I showed you, she was banned from Tinder. Yeah, maybe it was asking men weird questions about hot dogs. Just a thought. You see, I got perma-banned on the dating app Bumble for impersonating myself. You got banned because you drew anorexic caterpillars on your face. Anyway, apparently women like our friend Bunny here are making dating a lot harder than it needs to be.
I mean, young women nowadays are dressed purposely to not be attractive. I've noticed that a lot of young women now dress super baggy, dress super ambiguous, just so they don't attract men anymore. It's like now the goal is to not ever procreate ever again.
And during my travels of the internet, I came to find out that this is apparently more of a feature of modern dating, not a bug. And because of women who look and act this way, it's given rise to the term septum ring theory, or nose ring theory. So because my birth year starts with a 1-9, I had absolutely no idea what this meant and had to look it up. And apparently it refers to women who
Hey, my birth year starts with the 1-9 also.
have a septum piercing, or I guess nose piercings in general, being mentally unwell and psychotic.
Alright, kid.
I mean, I think the little dot isn't that bad. The ring itself on one nostril does look awkward.
I just woke up and I saw this comment and was like, what does this mean? So I did my little research on the internet, the TikTok search bar, and it turns out that I'm fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he ain't wrong. I'm in therapy, I'm medicated, and by whatever.
At least they're admitting to it. I don't know what to do with this.
The MAGAs just started calling this like
The MAGAs.
nose ring theory, every woman with a nose ring.
I think it's just men have noticed the pattern of the women with those nose rings.
Is apparently crazy. Essentially, what this so-called theory states is that women with septum rings make their trauma, their whole personality, they're unhinged, crazy, and basically it's just a way to discredit, denounce, and degrade women.
Your comments saying nose ring theory are literally doing the opposite of what you think they are. I want to look this way. I want you to be able to look at me and see that I am a safe space and that I don't tolerate bullshit. I want you to look at me and know Donald Trump, men, honestly.
How do we look at you and see you as a safe place when you just literally say F men? So you don't care about men. How are you a safe place?
What's going on in the world right now?
I watched like 20 of these videos of women with septum bars and nose piercings angrily disagreeing with these comments being left on their videos, but without fail, every single one of them was a leftist, because stereotypes do actually exist for a reason. It actually annoys me a lot because when
It's funny how globally they all disagree, making videos disagreeing, but that video was a prime example of why men are right.
I was an emo teenager, everybody cool had a septum piercing, and all of us wanted one because they were a real sign of being in the alt community. Like the actual alt community, not whatever it is today, whatever the kids are doing today. Now, the only people...
Yeah, back then when I was growing, it was a punk rock kind of thing.
...who look like this are people who have daddy issues so hard they think the government should parent them.
I think it's absolutely hilarious that Trumpers are just now realizing that people who have different views than them have nose rings. Like, yeah, bud. I decided a long time ago I don't want to conform to your beauty standards.
You know, a lot of these people are just extremely alarming human beings. Like the sort of people who you would reject and then they would go to extreme lengths to find you out in the real world and come to your house. And that...
Yes, that is a lot of people nowadays, it seems.
That's actually entirely possible because of how much of your private information is accessible on the internet through data. What's becoming increasingly clear, and is probably obvious to a bunch of you, is that there is a huge schism that has developed between men and women. And this same group of women who go out of their way to let you know that they hate men, that they don't need men, that men are terrible, horrible demon creatures, are simultaneously quite confused why they're having so much trouble finding a man to date. More specifically of the liberal variety.
This video is for my girlies who are in relationships with liberal men. More specifically, people that are just like super down with like
What is up with your face? Did you get sunburned?
human rights, women's rights, don't support genocide, aren't trans.
Like you literally have like a Homer Simpson beard thing that's not red.
Oh my god!
Around you.
Transphobic, aren't homophobic, aren't racist type shit, you know? I'm curious where you found them, and if you think there's any left. Don't get me wrong, super happy that you like got your hands on one. It's kind of giving like ultra rare, like 24 karat gold little boo-boo type shit. Like that's super awesome. Just curious if you think there's any left and where you would direct us single girls to find them.
Honey, they don't exist. They're too busy getting pegged. Jokes aside, there's actually this humorous trend.
Sydney came out of left field now. I don't disagree.
Social media where these women once again are asking not only where the liberal men are, but where are the liberal men who behave like conservative men?
Right.
Do you want to know one of the saddest realizations I recently had? Was that as a liberal woman, it is really hard to find a man who is willing to play the more traditional masculine role in the relationship in today's day and age, who is not a conservative. A man who wants to pay on the first date, who wants to open your door, who has that want and desire to take care of you and to provide.
Yeah, that's the thing. It comes with a certain archetype and a certain thought process of a man that wants to do those things, it usually leans towards conservative.
Was not a conservative.
Videos like this are so surreal to me, and it's very hard to put into words why, but I'm going to try. I don't think there's anything wrong or weird or strange or inherently leftist about wanting to be treated as an autonomous, independent person. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's quite strange to participate in the same ideology that has browbeaten men for decades, insisted that chivalry and sort of traditional values are a tool of the patriarchy, and then turn around when you're ready and say, no, I want it now. I personally don't think that treating women, particularly with respect and decency and kindness and blah, 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 should be a left-wing or right-wing thing, just like I don't think that treating men with...
I think men treat women pretty fairly overall. It's not like we mistreat them purposely.
Decency and
we just avoid them.
Kindness and love should be a particularly left-wing or right-wing thing. However, in the context of men acting this way, it's typically conservative traditional beliefs that underpin this behavior. I'm sorry it's this way. You've told all the liberal men that everything has to be 50-50 and that you want to be fully equal to him, and he's going to act that out. He's going to expect you to behave in such a way that...
But you asked men to listen to you and do all the things you said. There you go. There's the liberal men. They just don't have their own backbone to do all the other masculine things that you want.
Demonstrates that. And fair enough, you've told him that's what you want. It's no wonder that fertility rates are falling. Everyone is insane. To be honest with you all as well, I think that the sort of social conditioning that I just described around male-female behavior is probably why a lot of men now actively do not want to approach women, and why
Midtown. That's why Midtown is growing vastly.
Women, the normal ones, are finding this very frustrating.
Correct.
I better pay attention to me tonight. I'm so...
It does suck. I really do admit that it's the loudest, most miserable women on the internet and the loudest, most miserable women in life that are causing the worst for most women.
I'm sick of this shit.
Oh my god.
Touch a boob, buy a drink. I mean, it's like very simple.
Wait. If I bought you a drink, I can grab a boob?
Why?
Is that what you're telling me?
Go out, looking adorable, tits bouncing, skin glistening, and yet
My
nobody
skin glistens.
ever hits on me or approaches me. Ever! Oh my god, like please.
Guys don't approach girls at the bars anymore.
I do.
I don't expect guys to come up to me, but I know the caliber of my friends, and I know what those bitches look like, and they are some stunning. If guys aren't going up to them, guys aren't going up to fucking anyone. So I think if you're going up to girls at the bar in the first place, whether you say hi, whether you say, can I buy you a drink, whether you use Nick's line, which is a great line, by the way.
Thank you.
I think you have a million times better of a shot.
I think it's worth pointing out, because it often gets lost in this conversation, that a lot of the women who are now experiencing men withdrawing from them, young men withdrawing from them, actually had nothing to do with the messaging that caused that reaction in the first place.
I said this. I've talked about this. Like, the young women that are experiencing this have never even truly experienced bad men.
They were little girls when all of this was being so heavily laid on everybody, and now unfortunately they're the ones who are getting kicked in the head by the messaging that generations beforehand had been, you know, forcing onto men. I don't know if I articulated that well.
No, she's right. Like, men now have solidified into more MGTOW, more self-preserving, which is a detriment to the young women that are coming up. A lot of young women now have actually rejected feminism. But they live in a society now where men have rejected women.
At all. Hopefully I did. So I really feel for these young women because they had nothing to do with it, and I feel bad for the young men because they've been, once again, browbeaten from the time that they were little to sort of go against innate instincts of, you know, wanting to chase and all these fun things. So it's, I don't know, I think everything's pretty screwed up. But this video is not about the women who are collateral damage in all of this. This is about the crazy, psychotic women who are canceling dates because a guy said that he's not interested in politics.
I was supposed to go on a date tonight.
It is weird that nowadays politics became the #1 key factor of how we're going to be compatible, when back in the day, it was never even a thought process if this is why I would date someone or not.
But I realized I hadn't asked him enough questions, so I called him before. I was like, "Hey, mind if we just do a quick little run through questionnaire?" And he's like, "Yeah." Doesn't care about politics. Doesn't care about politics. So
this guy will probably never realize, but he did in fact dodge a major crazy bullet.
He did?
I love that you guys don't even have to tell these women that you're right-wing anymore. You can just say, "I don't care," and they'll dump you anyway. Once you—
And that's a lot of us, men. Like, we don't care enough about politics to even talk about it or be a part of it because we know it's just a smorgasbord of crap.
you actually meet men and spend time with them, you realize that they don't really care about too many things anyway. This is not terribly surprising behavior. These women have actually pathologized having normal conversations in an effort to get to know somebody, to ask them questions to see if you're compatible. Because these people do not live on planet Earth with the rest of us, rather than spending the time getting to know somebody as a human being like you normally would, they have instead decided that questions are only for finding out if someone is empathetic and progressive and what—
Well, this is why men say every time we go on dates, it feels like an interview. Because it literally is. They literally thought of interview questions to try to figure out certain things about you so they can see if they want to date you or not.
Never.
Or
Lord
if you're
help
compatible
you
with
guys.
them.
Seriously. Imagine having to play progressive 20 questions before you can have the most disappointing sex of your life.
So I have come up with 10 questions that you can ask when you're dating to see if this person actually has empathy and progressive values without being so obvious. Like they're actually gonna have—
Like, I feel like I have some progressive values. I'm not saying I don't, but to want a person that only have progressive values is kind of crazy.
to think about this. So here we go. So the first question is, tell me about a time you changed your mind about something important to you that maybe your friends or your family members didn't agree with.
It's probably pertinent that I tell you that this is the same woman who encouraged her followers to break up with their conservative partners, so do with that what you will. Is that dog fluff? Oh my god. Sydney, oh my god, it's dog fluff. Then there are the women who just patently lose their minds at the very prospect of dating a man.
Notice the pattern that Sydney's been covering. It hasn't been crazy men. It's been a lot of crazy women. And that's the thing. Women have taken this social experiment, whatever you want to call it, to beyond levels of humanity.
And with differing political viewpoints.
I cannot believe a man said this to me. Actually, I can. The other day when I posted the video about, like, you know, like wanting a liberal guy or whatever, I had this dumbass literally send me a message and he was like, well, he doesn't have to be a liberal man. Why can't it just be a man that treats you good?
Right.
Sir, because a MAGA man isn't going to treat me good. You know why? Let's just start with first and foremost. You voted against my fucking rights.
Ah, yes. This is a completely normal reaction to someone asking you to be open-minded to a nice man. How dare he? I mean, at this point, I am ready to vote against this woman's rights. Golly. I'm not trying to pick on single mothers, just by the way, because I got love for you ladies, but I knew
we don't.
As soon as I saw this video that this woman is in fact a single mother. Because of the general air of insufferability, you know? I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I can definitely tell that this is a difficult person to live with.
I cannot believe a man said this to me.
I don't know, lady. Maybe get your septum pierced. I hear that that's the entry fee to get the therapy that you so desperately need. So I have been both a woman and right-wing more or less my entire life. You know, sort of like oscillating on the right-wing spectrum.
Yeah, you know, I'm covering Sydney Watson right now. I don't fully agree with everything she says, but she does make great points, and she does, you know, kind of speak for men against women too. But not everything, but it makes sense.
And it's kind of funny because nowadays I find myself to be the most moderate on certain issues than I ever have been previously.
Yes, I kind of agree with. I used to be very liberal when I was growing up, and then I grew up, became a little bit more conservative, and then now I'm in this boat of it seems that most of my views are very moderate compared to everything else. Because I get a lot of comments down below of you guys calling me very moderate. I'm not too extreme this way, nor too extreme that way. I'm just trying to logically go through everything with you guys.
Mostly because I think everybody's insane. I am the only
True.
sane one. I have
could-
built
that's
a
somewhat
tower
thing.
around myself, and nobody is allowed to enter or disturb my sanity. Anyway, it was always important to me to find somebody who had core values that I shared, because that just generally makes life a lot easier. But I would never reject somebody because they were apolitical, which you guys know is an actual thing here. If a guy is not overtly political, these women just assume that he is a raging right-winger. No,
They
Bunny,
seem to
he
think
just
that, yes.
doesn't give a crap about politics. Maybe he's the only sane person in the sane tower with his hobbies and fishing. Actually, I'm just kidding. A dude with a fishing photo, they would 100% think is right-wing. God forbid a man has hobbies.
As a bi woman, what am I gonna do with that if you don't say that you're liberal? If you're a white man, are you trying and you match? And you like my profile? Are you? You see that I'm bi on my profile? Are you trying to convert me? Are you trying to?
Or he's just trying to hit?
Turn me straight? Or what's going on?
Like the thought process that they overthink so much. Did you ever think he matched with you because you look cute? That's all it probably was.
Here, what's going on here? Are you liberal but just didn't write it? What's going on?
I'm sorry, this one was a uniquely painful watch. Delivering to camera in one fell swoop where you just speak words and they make sense and they sound nice is actually quite hard, but if you can't get it correct, why are you still putting it on the internet? Like, why are you exposing people to this? Maybe we should have just left this one in the drafts. So if you are wondering why this is happening, why dating is so hard, and honestly this is all pretty self-evident, like I said, there's a massive divide happening between men and women. With women obviously getting much more progressive, and them also determining that political affiliation is one of the most important factors when it comes to choosing a partner. And these women want you to know that they hate Trump. They want you to know that they have more extreme political opinions in the leftward direction, and they're very upset that they can't signal these things on dating apps appropriately.
What are we doing? Leftists on dating apps, what are we picking? Because I already started the discourse on Twitter, but I want to know your opinion. Are we picking liberal? Or are we picking non-political other? Like, they don't have an option for us. Please let me know. What is worse?
Let's just put extreme crazy. Would that fit your description, lady?
Of two options, worse or worser. Because I'm having a hard time dissecting.
Like, they're so extreme that even liberal is not an extreme enough word for them.
If these people are actually leftists, liberals, non-political, like, we really need a leftist option.
I find this really interesting though on a statistical level, and this has been demonstrated over and over and over again. Between progressive women and conservative / right-wing women, us righties are much less worried about finding somebody who aligns with us 100% politically. But unsurprising to none of you, the leftist progressive women are incredibly concerned with it. I found one completely insane survey that, if I'm reading this correctly, determined that very liberal women would prefer to date an ex-felon over someone with a differing political view. This is actually so funny because I found this TikTok which basically says he might be evil but at least he's liberal, and I was like, I don't even know where I'm going to use this in this video, but
so they rather men be murderers and rapists than just be a little bit conservative, huh?
It fits perfectly here, so here you go. What the because of course you've decided that the felon is less bad than these men who you have decided randomly, arbitrarily, are just as bad as, I don't know, Nazis and want to like steal your uterus or something. With the uterus stealing, we're talking about a different group of men. I hate explaining jokes, but I'm talking about the It's weird because despite liberal women desperately wanting someone who politically aligns, they report higher levels of dissatisfaction with life and dating. Wow, I can't imagine why. Let's draw some dead caterpillars on our face and go figure it out, Scoob. What are you doing?
What a cutie.
Liam. I got groomed yesterday and I'm a pretty boy now. You can't see him. He's a pretty boy now. All right, go away. Be gone from me, vile man. I also want to give props to men here because on a statistical front, and this has been demonstrated over and over, men are just less interested in someone's political views aligning with theirs. Not 100%, just really at all. And I think that's quite evolved, although other people would argue that's just because men will go after anything with a heartbeat. And maybe
No, I think it is evolved. We can care less about what you truly care about. Does that make sense? It's not in a bad way. It's like you might truly care about something against me, but I don't care. I still like you. That's men, right? Where women are like, what, you don't like the things I like? Fuck off.
maybe there's some truths to that too. I'm going to determine that it's because you guys are more interested in someone being nice and kind and lovely
True.
rather than who she votes for. Modern
Correct.
dating is really hard, and it's being made even harder by these insane, crazy women who are so fixated on finding somebody who has as extreme political opinions as them, whereas men are just out here like, I just want to find someone who's nice and...
Men out here just trying to survive, trying to have a legacy, trying to have kids, trying to have a great woman. We're not trying to do anything crazy.
Normal. So maybe the women are doing you a favor then in that case. What I think is genuinely crazy here is that men seem to be on a quest to find someone to share their life with, and there's this massive cohort of women who won't even look their way. It doesn't matter if they're apolitical, it doesn't matter if they're a little bit right-wing, it doesn't matter if they're the most extreme right-wing. These women, these progressive women, view all men through the same lens and tar them with the exact same brush. Like I said before, I don't think there's anything wrong at all with wanting somebody who shares your core values, because like I said, it makes life a lot easier, it makes doing a bunch of things a lot easier.
It makes sense why most people marry within their culture.
Easier, like child rearing
because
and all
those
that fun
core
stuff.
values.
However, I think that having somebody with whom you disagree on a multitude of topics actually makes life really interesting, and it means that you can have discussions and debates, and you can exchange ideas and grow with each other.
And own each other in debates.
You think the exact same way about absolutely everything. I mean, personally, this is just me. You guys are welcome to disagree, but I don't think that's very fun. And coming back to the videos...
Yeah, everything being exactly agreeing, everybody, like, every time you do something, it's just always the same stuff because you guys like the exact same things. No, I agree. It does get boring.
So the women who are asking, why won't men approach me? Well...
I mean, they always say opposites attract. Those are the two things that they always like to say, right? And two people with very different views but the same core values still end up doing well.
Why would a man take the risk of approaching a woman when there is a not a 0% chance that he is going to get chewed out because he doesn't align with her politically? There's obviously so much to this topic. There's always going to be so much to the topic of dating. And just to be clear, there are a lot of things that obviously we didn't talk about in this video that do revolve around men making dating equally as challenging, but that is a topic for another video. Nope, you guys are not faultless. We blame everybody.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we have plenty of faults. Like a lot of men, again, don't want to do anything of value anymore. They rather just play video games. There's nothing wrong with that, but it also creates this horrible dating market that we have
equally on this channel. But when it
and then there's a lot of men that have red pill rage too, and the extreme red pill side is just as damning as the extreme feminist side.
It comes to focusing on the women, I just have a few final thoughts that I want to leave you with. I asked one of my girlfriends who is a former leftist about this, and she is married with children, and I thought her insight would actually be quite interesting into the sort of thought processes going on here. And she told me that even when she was a leftist, her goal was still to get married and have a family, but that was separate from her political views, and more so she was just focused on having a loving family. But where she sees a big difference with the women of today is that many of them are rejecting family to quote-unquote fight the patriarchy, to combat climate change, and to not have children, and thus continue ruining the world. And in her opinion, and I guess in mine as well, it's really, really bizarre. It is very weird to base the entire course of your own life on national politics and world politics.
Correct.
And I think if we're being real, thinking about relationships and love, and particularly men this way, is just making things so much harder than they need to be. It's making things so much crazier than they need to be. In the end, jeopardizing your own happiness because you continually overlook loving, kind men because they are not foaming progressive leftists is quite crazy. But as far as the men go, I have to think maybe these ladies are doing you a favor, and you are also all collectively—
I mean, they are pretty much just marking themselves. Blue-haired, septum rings. We know. Stay away.
dodging one giant bullet. Now,
Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.